Hello, everyone. This is Dwayne Golden, and it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight as we prepare for a training. I think it's important to recognize not just where we are in today's climate, but we need to recognize where each person is individually in spite of the climate. If you haven't noticed it, in our lifetimes, over the last 5, 6 decades, 7 decades, however old you are, you've seen crisis happen around the world, whether it's Middle Eastern wise, whether it's election wise, whether it's disasters of people getting shot up in high schools, the AIDS epidemic, 9/11. You've been through things. The real question exists now, and that will be around for a while, and that's around this idea of what does it mean to you? What's happening within you in spite of what's happening? And so tonight I'm going to talk about 4 keys to success in 2020. 4 keys to financial success in 2020. In 2020, there's certainly the downfall of what the onset of companies closing down, millions of people out of work, millions of companies out of business. Where do we go from here? And so the question isn't, what do we sit around and wait for the government to do? The question tonight for each of you is, what are you going to do? What are you doing? What have you been doing? And so it's only May 18th. The halving just happened on May 11th while many were sleeping. Also, we have so many things that involve your world. And if you're missing what I'm about to share with these 4 keys to financial success, you might be out of position. You might be still waiting for some new program to open up and start. You may be waiting for another new program to start instead of working on your own programming or how you program this. So let's get to it tonight. By the way, afterwards, as always, I will stay here and chat with you guys, but I'd like to keep it focused because I'm new at this. One of my goals during this COVID-19 was to master the art of live streaming. I've always tried it before, got hung up because I was trying to watch the screen and seeing when people could hear me, and then seconds later it came out. It was just so confusing. So I keep it all focused right here on you. And so I'm not going to be chatting until I know it's over, when I won't get tongue-tied. Now, after I've done this enough, I'm sure we'll be able to do well with it. But stay with me. So as I do this, I want you to note I am not insensitive, but very sensitive towards some of the challenges that many of you have had in your families. Those of you who have lost loved ones already, and those of you who haven't lost anyone, and you believe that even none of it's true, that people aren't even dying from it, I have a certain sympathy for you for what you don't know. I do recognize that everything that the government says is going to be true and all those things. Forget that stuff. But seeing the loss of life of people you love who have died as a result of this whole COVID-19 or this virus, it's clear that the virus exists. To what level, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, do you possess the keys for your success, for your family, to survive it, to thrive in the midst of it? If not, let's take a look at what's possible, what's needed. First thing I'm going to talk about is the first key. It's growth over security. It's sad that most don't understand that, in the words of our sister Helen Keller, that security in all of nature, security doesn't exist in all of nature. Neither as a whole can any man experience it. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. What are you living? It takes situations like this for people to realize there is no security. All of those 30 million people who had a secure job while they're saving up for their home, saving for college, saving for their children's future, saving for retirement, only to find out that the company in which they had that secure job, which gave the security of childcare, it gave the security of profit sharing, and gave the security of 401k, now all of a sudden is in dire straits. And if they do exist, you no longer exist with them, or many of the people you love don't. That type of security doesn't exist. It just is the illusion. You have the illusion that it does because it feels like all you have to do is wake up every day and just show up for work and it's there. Now you get a chance to taste it. You have to seek after and invest your ideals, your mind, and your concepts into growing as an individual so that no matter what, you have a place. You have to invest your mind and your opportunities into the growth of you being a bit different person. If you're the same person you were since high school, and you're one of these people that says, well, thank God that's over. I never want to go back to school. I don't want to learn anything ever again. You have to be careful. Because when there is no growth, there's an absolute for you that the end is nearer than it was. See, with growth, it's one of those things, how a lot of biologists, physiologists are looking for what they consider to be the slowing down the aging process. You can slow down the decay process in life in general if in fact you can grow this. And so growth over security every day of the week. Personal development. You don't have to go back and get a university degree. If you want to get one of those, you can. But you want to be developing this on a regular basis. If you're going to have financial strength in this market where the dollar is soaring but is unfortunately likely to take a huge dip in the near future, you have to be able to make sure that you're building upon something. If you're a sheep, and you do nothing more but hop around to whatever someone posts on Facebook and then you're going to try it, then you're missing it again. So, if you didn't know it, security is an illusion. But you can grow. You can grow as an individual, grow mentally. I am proud to say that if you're a better person, you've grown since February of this pandemic, you're getting the point. You now have done something more valuable than security. And if there were to be such a thing as security, it's going to come from your mental growth. Security. So I love the word, but it doesn't exist. And I know it's needed. It's needed to have that feeling like, we're covered. We've got, right now just a few $100,000 in 401k. Retirement's paid up. We've got some vacation money put aside, and then the floor gets knocked from under you, and now you have nothing. You have to get to the point where you're always growing this. If you're a different person today than you were on December 31st because you've grown, you get the point. Anyone could make a New Year's resolution, but it takes real men and real women to plunge through and insist upon a difference because they insist on growing. First key, growth. The key, growth over security. It's important. You want to do that. What's the second key, Dwayne? Well, I think you ought to take a look and see that assets over credit. You see, one thing that's happening, everybody's like, if you want to improve your credit, if you didn't know the model, the 19th, 20th century motto for North Americans, Canadians, and Europeans, it is this: 3 classes. Unlike in South America, Central America, Southeast Asia, where there's many classes, right? 3. You have the rich, you have the middle class, and you have the poor. And here's the ranges they fall into if you didn't know it. The poor focus on bills. If you ask them, well, I can't yet. You ever go to try and get someone to start go into business with you? They say, not yet, because I have to pay these bills. I'm going to focus on the bills. I got to bills. Majority of their financial psyche is focused on bills. That's the poor, right? But what am I supposed to do? That's all I got is bills. Just hear me out first. That's the model. The model also includes the middle class, which focus on credit. You see, if they can get credit, they can have liabilities that look to the poor like assets. So by having good credit, it means I can finance. I can finance some cars. I can finance a summer home. Finance college. I can finance, get a second mortgage on my home. Credit is essential. I can drive what I want to. So people, the middle class, have always focused on credit. The poor focus on bills. Therefore, nothing else works. No credit, no assets. Middle class focus on credit so much that they don't have assets. They just have credit that gives them the appearance of having assets. What do they do? If you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me help you. When a middle class person gets good credit, the first thing they want you to do is visualize their what looks like assets. That is, what do I drive? What trip am I taking next? And what my house looks like. We're building it now. It's going. All these things are going on. And so that's just another view. I'm just giving you the model, okay? So now, wealthy, okay? It's important to understand this. Assets are so valuable that you will miss paying a bill and you will risk bad credit. That's just what wealthy do. Somebody said, that guy, the president in the nut job, he just says whatever comes out of his mouth. He's just lucky. How in the world can you file bankruptcy to the tune of millions of dollars more than once and you're still rich? I would tell you some of the things that happens in that. Most wealthy people have lost things more than once because they didn't fear not paying a bill. They didn't fear credit. They did fear not having assets. They did fear not having assets that will work for you when your credit's gone and when your bills are gone. I'll be the first to tell you. If any of you ever talked to Dwayne Jr. or Daniel or David, my kids, they would tell you we've lost everything at least 2 or 3 times. But at the end of the day, by focusing on assets, wealth is still built. Assets, owning different companies, owning companies in different countries, those are assets, right? Owning property, owning things. And then, of course, never putting the focus on bills or credit. So that's just something I want you to get. You want a key that will revolutionize and change your life forever? That is perspective of not thinking what you've been conditioned to think, but think outside the box to the tune of this. You could be very much financially successful and have lost your shirt by having your bills not paid. We have lost our home before. My children will tell you when they're growing up, they went through some tough times. But we never lost the focus, never lost the goal, never lost the setting of having assets. Never laying down and quitting because they came and threatened to turn the electricity off. Electricity's gone. Nothing to do. What are we going to do? Never resented, never yielded, never turned around from entrepreneurship for those things. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm not telling you to throw your life away. I'm telling you this. You can build wealth, right? Or you can be addicted to bill paying. That doesn't mean don't pay your bills. Don't you dare mistake what I'm telling you guys tonight. You want to make sure that you have the focus. At the end of the day, if there's only one thing you can do, you best build assets. You best have things that you possess, that you own. So at the end of the day, you have yourself financial leverage. Financial leverage that if you liquidate it could become cash. So you can't do that with credit. You see, if you lose the ability to continue to be a slave to that quote unquote credit, which has you pay 10 to 20 or 100 times for something because you're financing it, you have nothing left. But when you have no bills left, you can't pay bills and you don't have credit, but you have assets, you have money. It's hard to imagine that. Has anyone noticed this? Have you noticed that they don't put rented centers for renting furniture and renting televisions and stereos and those types of things in rich neighborhoods? They only put them in poor neighborhoods. Because they know that the poor will, because they're focused on paying bills, they're like, I could pay that bill. It's only going to cost me $20 a week for that television. It's only going to cost me $50 a week for furnishing my entire house. I'll take it. And before you know it, the bills supersede the income, which puts us right back down to slavery, looking for another program, looking for something that someone else can provide outside of us. So assets, which will equal your financial leverage, must be in play if you're going to have this second key to financial success. So, truth is, I put financial success in 2020. It doesn't matter which century you're in. The keys work. But they're not going to work without assets. How many of you guys, everybody loved to put up a quote from Robert Kiyosaki, right? In his Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. And most people only love to requote him, but don't practice this idea of building up the asset column. Instead, we have tons of liabilities. can't wait to show off the fanciest $100,000 or $200,000 car, right? Showing off a 12,000 square foot home, only to be a slave to it, and now caught up in between poor and middle class because we're living to pay those bills that give us good credit. Therefore, it's not possible to have assets. Just saying. Today, I sit here before you, wanting you to know, as a human being, I have been to the bottom, baby. When I ended up in the hospital after my service in the military, almost 3 years, my wife and my kids had to move in with my parents, her parents. We lost everything, home, car, everything. They didn't expect me to live. Pay a bill, forget that, dude. I just had to make sure they had somewhere to go and have something to eat. I knew that, Lord, if you spare my life, give me an opportunity to live and get back out there. In spite of the 53 surgeries, having all of my breast tissue removed, having my lower legs and tissues cut out of my lower legs, colorectal surgery, after all this stuff, if you give me a chance to live, I won't live it to be enslaved to monetary things, to things. I'm not going to be a slave to what I drive. When I have the opportunity, I will own my car, right? I will make sure that I put myself in position so I can be someone who can be a contributor to making our world a better place, who will actually serve you with what I have, and I will build assets. That was my thought. That was my thinking. So don't think that I've not been there. I'm just telling you that getting into that rut, you could stay there 30, 40, 80 years, and before you know it, it's time to die, and you die without assets. You're like a lot of other families. Everybody's raising money just to bury you. So, key number 1. Key number 2, assets over credit. Key number 1, growth over security. What next? What else is there? Well, I want you to note, you want to commit to building assets at all costs, no matter what. If you drive an ugly car, drive one. If it has rust on it, so what? Stop convincing yourself that you need something new that's only going to bury you further so you never own assets. The next time the world's in a pickle from a pandemic or something else, here you're caught with something holding you hostage because you couldn't say no. Let's take care of number 2 together. If you get this and you know for sure that you're someone who's going to build an asset, you're not going to be deceived, and you're insistent, you want to do as I had to do, and you say, no matter what, I'm going to build an asset, type in the number 2. Build assets, things you possess without permission from someone else. What else? Number 3, the investment order. This is where people really get confused. You see, this key is really important. Most people believe they just go searching and ask someone, hey, anything I can invest to? What can I get my hands into? I don't get into something. The greatest investment you ever make is into your mind. Before investing into new models, new things, you want to build your mind up. If your mind is the same way it was a year ago, a year or two ago, if you're not doing anything to grow, you've got to change it. I told you. Growth, it must be over security. You have to grow financially. You have to grow mentally. You have to grow spiritually. And if you're not growing, you're missing it. What do? Do you read? Are you reading daily about what people are doing to be successful so you can adopt those principles? Have you studied the wealth? Have you studied the wealthy? Or are you just living in your world looking for opportunities to spend your money? You know, that's how a lot of you have lost your fortunes. Someone came to you and told you, look, I got this thing going. You saw how much they made. Because you haven't been developing this, you paid top dollar to be in, only to find out that you didn't do anything. You invested first into an opportunity, but not first into your mind. You must grow first. The order must be that, it was Benjamin Franklin that says, he who invest into his mind. I forgot how it goes. Gosh, you made me ruin my quote saying. Oh, man. Invest into your mind. Yes, invest into your mind, and your mind will fill your purse with gold. Huh? You have to invest into your mind so that you have something you can differentiate between what is good and what is bad. Didn't you know that? Did you not know that why some of you average 5 to 7 new companies a year because you don't invest into your mind? All you're doing is throwing your money at companies and you end up with nothing. You get duped so easy because you don't grow this. Reading's not fun when I can just surf Facebook. Why would I read anything? Why would I want to study? Why do I want to learn more things? Why do I want to learn how to invest? Why do I want to learn how money works? Why do I want to learn more about cryptocurrency and where it's going? Why do I want to learn more about fiat? Why do I want to learn more about global economics? Why do I want to learn more about what is capitalism instead of me jumping on bandwagons? Why capitalism over democracy? Why capitalism isn't democracy? Why not socialism? Why not communism? If you don't know those things, why do you pretend to have a voice? Learn the order. The order is you invest first into your mind. It's amazing. Some of these people spend more into a new opportunity than you have into your mind. Someone gives you a book, it grows dust on it. Never open it. If you're quoting someone, you're quoting a Facebook quote because you don't invest into your mind. You're giving a Twitter quote. You're giving a Instagram quote because you don't read or learn more about people who've already done it and been there. Learn the order. Some of you have spent in the last 10 years more than $100,000 to $200,000. Some of you more than $500,000 into opportunities that never went anywhere. And you blame everything except for the fact that you weren't prepared, that you didn't know enough about it. I'm here to tell you, learn the order. The third key for your success, financial success in 2020 will be the order of investment. Investment without mental capacity, that equals aimless motion, just doing a lot of stuff, being busy, certainly a lot of spending. Once again, let's walk back through it. Investment number 1, growth over security, right? Investment number 2, assets over credit. Build assets. Investment number 3, order of investments. Make sure that you understand the first thing you have to do is invest into your mind. Invest into this. Have you not noticed over the last 60 days I've been telling you I've been studying and learning everything I can about live streaming because I'm going to set off, when we do our Ingreso launch, I'm launching out simultaneously into Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time, but I'm perfecting it first. Hours and hours and hours of development of my time to do it, to learn it. Even I have to learn. I've been building assets for more than a decade and a half, and I'm still learning. Don't you see the connection? So, order of investment. Well, Dwayne, if that's true, what's the 4th key? You said there's 4 keys to success, financial success in 2020. What's the 4th? I'm glad you've asked. The 4th key is education over entertainment. Education over entertainment. What are you doing? Are you some person that's going nuts because you can't get out to happy hour? You can't spend time in the club, but since you cannot, you spend more than 20 to 30 hours a week binging Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, HBO. Do you spend more time entertaining than you do investing into your mind? If so, let's do the math on this. If you pay $125 a month for cable, right? That's about $1,300 a year into cable. When's the last time you spent $1,300 into new information into your brain? May I enlighten you once again that the brain is so powerful that you can memorize everything that's ever taken place since the history of the world and still live a lifetime or two over. On top of that, and yet we invest more into entertainment. How many parties we missed out on? We will fly across the globe to go to a wedding. We will entertain wedding reception. We will entertain ourselves to death. We make sure we have all the latest music, the latest cinema, movies, and yet it's like pulling teeth to get you to invest into your mind by getting a new book. When is the last time you learned new strategies about how to do business? When's the last time you have purchased a seminar where you could learn more? When's the last time you've gone to a seminar, online or offline? Instead, you sit back as an expert who hasn't learned anything to become an expert. You even call yourself a coach in many cases, and you can't coach what you've not even learned yourself. Won't you understand that education over entertainment is the fourth key? It's not necessarily the last, because it's vital. It is essential for me. I'm a person of color. A person of color, we love to enjoy ourselves. You know, coming from 3 generations above me, which was born into slavery, I understand that we didn't get that kind of thing. So now that we can get entertainment, we're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to dress and look nice and feel nice. We're going to drive something good finally. But I'm here to tell you that it's still more valuable to invest in my mind as a person of color so I can be seen for my mental contributions over what color I am. It's essential. Too long have people judged based on things like that, but I'm not going to give them any reasons to think that I am anything other than a color. I'm so much more, and so are you. What do you do about it? Educate yourself over how much you invest into entertaining yourself. I'm human. I like entertainment myself. But I would tell you, I spend my time investing in my mind and my hours and hours of any given day into being a better entrepreneur, because that feeds my great-grandchildren. My great-great-great-grandchildren that aren't born yet will eat off of this table because I've insisted on the 4 keys, all 4 of them. Won't you join me in that? This is Dwayne Golden, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of successful things you will do in 2020. It's not over. It's still, we haven't even hit June 1st. You have more than 6 months left. Won't you begin to practice the 4 keys to your financial success in 2020? Let's chat together now as we close out the webinar or the live stream, and I'll see you. It's only, good Lord, it's not that long. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Let's go ahead and chat together, okay? God bless you guys. Let's do it.